Oh. That wasn't a happy start. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Burndown YouTube channel. We are back at it on the Twinnebago. So the clock is ticking. LS Fest West is in April, which sounds like a lot of time, but when you break it down to nights and weekends, it's not very much time. So we're trying to get on this puppy, and then I still have the Malibu to contend with as well. So what we're going to do today is I put the power steering cooler on. If you watched the last episode, I did drive around a little bit. I didn't film any of it, but when this thing would warm up or heat up, get up to like driving temp, and you'd driving around, you'd come to a stop, and then the brakes would work fine, but they felt a little different. I don't really know how to explain it. It wasn't like brake fade. Maybe you had to apply a little more pressure, but they felt a little different. And then you could hear the power steering pump working. Like if you'd come complete stop, and then you'd roll out and then you'd turn, you'd hear it, but it wasn't growling bad like it was really overheating or anything, but you'd hear it, you know, just a little bit, you know, it was audible. And I put this cooler on and I let it get up to temp, and I was lapping it around because I was checking for leaks. And then today we're still going to be monitoring that for leaks, but it's completely silent. Like when you push the brakes because it's hydro boost, or you turn the wheel, even when it's up to temp. Granted, it was pretty warm yesterday. I want to say it was like 90. And we were mobbing it, you know, and all the fans are coming on. We got the trans up to temp. It wasn't really a long haul. It was a bunch of short rounds, but we were definitely up to temp, and it wasn't making noise. So I feel better about that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to monitor that still. I need to see if I can figure out how to check pressures on the transmission, because I have two coolers in line. So we have to see if that has any real back pressure issue. And then we need to also start making a list of things to do. And I'd like to get it out and stretch its legs a little bit and work on the tune because I really haven't had a chance to do that. So I want to see if I can start dialing the thing in and making it run a bit better. So we're going to play with this today. I'll bring you guys along. So stick around. Let's have some fun. So we have some work to do on the Twinnebago. And if you noticed when I came in here, the seat is moved so I could open the doghouse. So I was checking fluids for power steering and all that, but I figured I'd leave it open so we can triple check, you know, oil, make sure the transmission's topped off, because if we make some rounds and do stuff, it's just easier to do that before we ride. And then I got this Terminator. This is a Terminator X Max in here. I have an X, Terminator X in the Malibu, and they're both older, and they came out with a new version of the software. And I think last time I was messing with stuff, I was at KP shop, and he's like, "What, you haven't updated your stuff?" I'm like, "Dude, if it ain't broke," like I didn't update it before we left, because I'm like, that's the last thing I want to do is get into computer stuff. Well, today, since this thing does need to get kind of tuned on and messed with, I figure what better day to start screwing with computer stuff than today. So we're going to update the firmware on all my crap, and I'll link the video on here to Sloppy. Happel explains it, you know, better than I could. He's got a little bench thing. He can turn it off and on and flash it. So if you need to update your firmware on your Terminator X, link is on the screen or somewhere. We'll put a little card or something that pops up. You can follow that. Matt will tell you how to do it for Sloppy Mechanics. And I'm going to go on Struggle Street. We'll see if we can't get this done. I'll show you guys when it flashes, if we get it all figured out. I myself am going to watch Matt's video to figure out how to do this. And then once we get it fired back up, we can kind of start playing with it. I think we'll get this done so it'll fire up, and then we'll crawl underneath and kind of look at everything and see what kind of challenges we got. So I got the new firmware on here. Let's turn the key and see if it gets angry. Detected file. So it's, yeah, OC flash unique update 71. So you can see it right here. So it found it, it's updating it. So I'll go through this process. Like I said, go watch Matt's video for the full details on it. I'm going to go through this thing step by step, get this in the computer dialed, and then we'll keep on rolling. So we uploaded everything into the computer. We updated the firmware for the handheld and the ECU. And if you watch Matt's video, they've made it easier because they have a file in there. So when you update the firmware on the handheld, it automatically hits the computer too. So before, you're having to do both. So it was really, I mean, it's Holley's got it down. So that's all dialed in. I downloaded the new software on the computer. So what we'll do is I'll just show you guys this part real quick. I got here's my old version. So we got the new version. We got the big dog on, and then we'll just download from ECU. It prompts me, goes through the motions, and then we should have, dun, 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 we got the Twinnebago tune. So all the parameters are there, fuel. So there's all my tables, learn, all that stuff. So it's all there. And then we've got these new icons up here, right here, the second pane. And then there's a bunch of other new options. You guys can find a bunch of videos on that. But just to show you that we're on that, let's see how we go. And that's it. We're off and running. So it's the same tune that we had before, but now we work on it. We're all in the V2 software. So I feel good about this portion. So let's move on to getting underneath this thing and seeing about, you know, if there's any leaks. I'll show you guys the cooler, and then we'll kind of look at the trans lines and maybe see if we can get a plan for that action, but I don't know. I put the laptop on charge, so I figured I'd show this to you guys. So there is my little Jingadera. It's not hot. And then here are the lines, hard lines. This is return, feed. Oh, there's a little bit of a juice coming off that guy, so tighten that down, snug it a little bit, and then it connects into here. So same thing with this guy. Looks like, I don't know if that's residual, because I dumped too much in and it made a mess. I probably shouldn't lay directly under it. So I'm gonna wipe all this down, we'll run it a bit, and then we'll check for leaks. But yeah, this little guy seems to be doing the trick, so we'll see how she goes. And then where are we at? All the way, you can't even see those guys. Oh, I gotta get rid of that purple wire too. But way back there are the transmission coolers, and I need to figure out a way to monitor pressure. So we'll go crawl around under there, I'll look at it, and I'll see if there's something that I can do to put like a pressure sensor or pressure something in line. And what I need to do is measure the resistance with just one cooler and then measure it with both and kind of see where we're at. Or technically I could start by measuring both and then figure out how to reroute it to just the one and see, you know, how much the pressure drops, because it should be a restriction for each cooler that I have. And the problem with that, if there's too much restriction, I can knock the thrust bearings out of the engine. But I kind of feel like we're not really, you know, putting on like a trans brake. Granted, this thing's heavy, so the pressures are probably pretty high. So I don't know. Let's get back there. We'll kind of look at what we got. Let's go hang out with my friends. The spiders. Oh no. Oh, get off me. Okay. So, if you watched the video, these are actually my trans coolers, and I had this guy way up under front and it wasn't getting air, and then I put this one way back here, and that one was still way up front, and that seemed to help. And then I brought this one back here, so now we got two of these big dogs, and the transmission seems to really like this, but yeah, it's still one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if there's too much pressure. So what we have is all of the lines come through here. Ooh, I have a union right here. That's right, because I didn't make a whole new line. So that should make life easier to check it, because I could skip going into this one. So I think that would make the test. Oh no, that's not helping my airflow. Yeah, and if you're wondering, I don't know why the fan is on this side. So this fan should technically be over here because it's a restriction. It's not getting air. So I guess at some point I should probably flip that around, because that's kind of not a great idea anyway. But regardless, let's see what back pressures are before I have to start messing with stuff. Well, I don't know why you guys don't yell at me more, because I know I had a whole video where I put this in and I must have been being lazy, or maybe I didn't show you guys, but I don't know why the fan is on the front of this. This is like the dumbest thing ever now. It completely bothers me. So I'm going to move the fan to the back side where it should be, because I think what happens is these hit here, so I couldn't just take this and put it on that side. But the thing is, I can take the fan off and then drill the holes all the way through and then literally mount the fan on this side. So we're gonna do that because this is this is amazing. And then after we get that done, we are going to see if we can check pressures. Then the funny part, I know just moving that fan, obviously get better air, and yeah, so whoever did this, I don't know about that guy. Alright, if you see me struggling, it's because the little brace I made to hold it from, rocking is in the way, and then if I push it down too hard, it flexes this and then it gets into the fan. So I'm afraid it would grab the fan and not spin. So I'm gonna move all my stuff. We're gonna spin this thing around because I can't really reach the plugs in the welder. I'm just gonna cut this dog off. We'll mount this because I already drilled the holes and everything, and then we'll just glue it back on. It's just gonna make life a lot easier. I was trying to finagle stuff, but I'm like, why am I struggling? Just turn the RV around. I have the tools over there, and then we can just move on with life. So yeah, and then if you are wondering, yes, I gotta flip the polarity of the wires around because it was pushing, so we'll flip it, and it's a DC motor, so it'll run in the opposite direction, so it'll be a pull fan at that point. So we flip around, finish it up, bring you guys back, and we'll beat you to death with the whatchamacallit, with the time lapses. So we got this thing done and mounted. Nailed it. There you go. So it's in now. I ended up having to drill other holes and bump it up a little bit to get it off of here. So now we are on to everybody's favorite part, wiring. Yay. And I wanted to share a little trick with you guys. So I use a lot of the 12 volt Milwaukee or whatever this is. And the nice thing about it being 12 volt is you can kind of use it to power car stuff. So I rigged up these little guys, and it's just spade terminals. And on the hot leg, I put a fuse, just to be safe. It's like 20, just in case I really did something stupid. And then I just have bare wire. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and test this fan, even though I know I need to flip-flop it, right? Obviously, I was dumb enough to put the fan on the front because I think I was just in a hurry because I was under pressure to get this thing off camping. And where it was mounted up, I was like, oh, that's just in the way with the brace or whatever. That's my excuse anyway. You gotta have an excuse, right? If you're on YouTube and you build things and you do a poor job. So that's my excuse. So we've corrected it because obviously I don't know what I was thinking, but anyways, let's power this thing up, make sure the fan is pulling this time, and then wire it in. The wiring is existing, so we'll just hard line it, crimp it. And I've got my terminals, my ring terminals for my ground, and my crimper somewhere around there. So let's power check this and make sure this dog's spinning in the right direction. So another tip also, of course I did do it on this battery. I usually take a black marker and then I ring these out, or not ring it out, I test it for positive and negative because it's not marked on here, and then I take it, I put a black line with a marker on whichever side is negative, so when I hook up this chingadera, I know that this is positive and negative and everything's correct. So I didn't do that on this one. Let me see. And typically I use these bigger batteries. Yeah, so there you go. So I put the black mark so I know that this spade terminal, when I plug this Jones on, the green is going to be my negative, so it'll go where the black is, and then the spade terminal just plugs in like so, and then you plug this guy in to the positive one now we have a party. So if I touch the fan, so this is the way it was, positive, positive, negative. So this is pushing air. And watch, if you touch them together when it's spinning, it'll slow it down like a brake. Anyway, so if we flip it around, I put this on the, this is originally the ground with the ring terminal, and then we push this dude on here. Oh, don't do that. I can feel the air on the old face, on my face. Okay, so at least I know we're good. Let's wire it up and be done with this. All right, so that is done. And last but not least, throw some zip ties down, make sure everything is kind of tidy-esque. I guess I should put my bolt back on there for my ground. So we'll find that. We are happening. And then when I tighten that down, nothing won't go nowhere. All right, looking good. Other than I don't know where my bolt went. Haha! Found it. Nailed it. Nailed it. Home stretch. All right. So I got my ground there. This is actually welded to this cross member, so it's a good ground. Zip tied her. Now we've got clean air coming to the front side. We just move this chingadera. It's not pushing on it. She spins free. Life is good. And now I don't want to check pressures on this thing because I'm like, man, I just want to go drive around. So I made an executive decision. It's about 90 degrees, so it's a nice warm day to kind of get out and cruise around. It's Sunday, it's the afternoon, and if I start doing transmission line pressures, I'm going to be laying under there and making a mess, and I don't have everything to do it properly. I need a few fittings, I think, to make my life a lot easier. So we're going to get out, stretch the Twinnebago's legs, work on the tune a little bit, and just enjoy Sunday afternoon, enjoy the fruits of our labor. This is my temperatures that I'm getting, so we're looking cool. And then my pan temp down here is looking good. So all this low speed stuff is really taxing on your deal. So get back up, hit that gate. All right, let's try again. So like I said, we're lugging the motor. We don't have a lot of airflow. So this is really taxing on the cooling system, and this is exactly what I want. So that way when I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I don't have the option to, like, you know, park and take a break. I mean, I always have that option, but if you get in a situation where there's no shoulder and you're climbing a hill, you really don't want to, you know, be staring at your gauges and chewing a hole in the seat with your friggin' butt, because that's not happy. That's not good for anybody. So cruise around. Let's go down. Let's go this way. See, there's that little stumble. It's not that it's just upsetting. It's not like it's detrimental. It's not stumbling too bad, but it's, I don't know, it bothers me. Yeah, we're only doing like 20 miles an hour, 25. According to that, I think it's wrong. We'll have to fix that as well. Little brake squeak. Okay, let's see. See, watch. It'll have a little stumble. See, you see it flash? See, there's that spot. So I might have to run a data log and then just drive around and then kind of pick it apart like that. I've just been kind of guessing at it, cruising around. But that's part of it, part of the magic sometimes with tuning. So drivability is actually driving, making sure it has the ability, right? All right, let's take a lefty. See, if I'm rolling, it doesn't have that stumble because the RPM range is different. But temperature's looking good. We're gonna cruise around a bit. Let me cruise over out this way. We'll jump on the freewheel and we'll give it a look and see how we're going. So let me get over there. We're coming up to my favorite on-ramp. stretch your legs a little bit, take her to the next exit, and we'll keep an eye on temps. So we're starting at 200 and then 177 on the transmission. So fans are on, and then it's a little bit of an uphill. We'll get a little run. All right, you guys know. Wait, there's my stumble again. All right, just give her a little bit of juice and stretch her legs a little bit. Look at that, lockup on, 176 tran temp, I'm sure that'll jump. 201 on the cooling. After that little uphill jaunt. Yeah, cooling's already going down. And yeah, trans temp's at 176, that's nothing. Especially being a 90-degree day. Alright, I'll cruise down, we'll jump on, maybe jump back in the other lane. A little freeway flying today. And yeah, she's riding. Alright, we had to sit at a light for a pretty long period of time. People are probably trying to go because I think the game is going to start over Super Bowl Sunday. So the temp got up to like 206, still not terrible. That's the cooling. And then my line temp for my transmission is still under 190, which is still good to go. And that's, like I said, heat soaking it. As soon as we start moving, stuff comes down. What we're going to do, we're going to do a little bit of a speed test. If people aren't in the way, this on-ramp goes downhill a little bit, which is a little bit of help for the Bago. But I'll see if we can get this speedo up to like, 70 flow of traffic. And we'll see how far it's off, but I want to see if we can kind of get this thing to motivate a little bit better, speed of traffic. So, rock and roll, boys. Little half throttle. All day. So it says it's 74.5. Woo! So we'll see how far off that is. But ultimately, I'd like this thing to boogie. So we may take her out to the dry lake bed and see how she does. But I don't know. Just keeping up with these people. Thing says 70. People drive like idiots here in good old California. So transmission temp is 186, coolant's 202. I think we're good to go. All right, she did good. Everything went well. If I can get up, I'm gonna get out of here though, because it's a bit warm in here, man. There's no AC in this dog. Well, with the generator running it, just rolling down the road, there's no AC. So let's get some fresh air. Let's talk about this. Oh, woo! Fresh air. So, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the progress. These little torture tests where it's like just driving around. I mean, this thing is made to get on the highway and then just lumber along. And then technically we should probably be rolling in like the 55 range, because at some point I'd like to tow with the thing, but we'll have to see how it goes, because it has a hard time moving itself around. Let's be honest, it's pretty heavy. The wind, I think flat ground wise, I think we could tow with it, but I'm not going to tow to LS Fest West. The goal is to bring this dog, and then we're going to stay in it, show it to all you guys, hopefully maybe give some rides and stuff. It depends on where I pit. If I can get this thing in and out, maybe I'll pit like on the edge of a row so I can pull it in and out, because once it gets packed in there, it's probably going to be kind of stupid to try to maneuver a motorhome around. But we'll see what I'll do. I'll do the best I can. If not, we'll at least hook the two-step up and we'll pop and bang on that thing during the weekend for you guys and shoot some fireballs and have a good time. So other than figuring out the transmission pressure thing, that I don't know, my concern isn't really that high for it. I'm going to talk to my buddy Ryan Jans and really pick his brain and see. We'll go from there. And then I have cosmetic stuff. So this trim piece that I made it square, but then this grill really isn't 100% square. Handmade, what do you want? So I'm going to fudge this piece. I'll make another piece and break it. This is actually two pieces. And we'll bring it down. We'll make it a little fatter. so the gap like this lines up here, because that looks donkey to me. The gap and stuff on the side is not too bad, and down here, and you know, that one's a little wonky, but this is just unacceptable. If I really feel froggy, we'll paint the cold side of the turbos, but I don't know if paint will hold up. Let me know if you try to paint these, if they've held up or not. I got a powder coat spot, so I can hit them up, but it's kind of a waste of money to me at this point, considering all the other stuff I have to do. I want to paint the bumpers. We'll just strip them down, shoot them white again. Obviously this trim to match, we'll paint that, you know, around here, so that's all the rust, ugly rust is gone. The blue here where the W is, and then this blue, whatever color that deal is, that's what I'm going to shoot. So the rest of this thing is white already, so we're going to let it rip on just the blue portion here. So yeah, getting a phone call. And then this thing's kind of mangled, but the problem is I might straighten it up a bit to make it look a bit better. I could possibly make a new one. Maybe I'll make a new outer piece, and then I'll just whack this sheet kind of back into place, because I don't want to change the colors. Granted, this looks more white than this already, so maybe we'll fix this door. This, it is what it is. This dog got pushed in. I can't do anything about that. We'll shoot this bumper here, and then I'm going to take the awning off because I'm going to keep it, but I need a new one. But I don't have one, and it just looks hokey, and if it doesn't have a purpose, I think it'll kind of clean the side of this thing up. And then I think we'll leave this back ladder. I'll get up there and look at that, you know, this railing deal, and see what I can do with that. And then this is pretty terrible here too, but I guess safety first, right? So that's it. We'll remove the hitch, you know, some of this ugly wiring that's kind of hanging down, and just kind of get it cleaned up. Maybe we'll go on eBay. If any of you guys have access to a light that, you know, this thing's busted out, so don't want to get rolled for that. And then that's it, you know. We'll just clean her up. Oh, and I got one of these doors that are missing. I think maybe like some sort of supply place. This is where the hose goes. That thing, I opened it when we went camping and got roached. So yeah, so it's kind of cosmetic stuff at this point. Oh, and then the other thing, one last thing we're gonna do is, I saw this, it made me think about it. So this is a water box, and then the hose goes around, and I was shooting cool water on it when I was up in like the hills and stuff and trying to keep the motor and cool things off. I was gonna just kind of use that, but then I was like, one of the guys when we were camping was like, dude, why don't you got a fresh water tank, like it's 30 gallons or whatever, 40 gallons I got in here. He was like, just hook something up to that, and then you can just put water in, and you can have a little bit of water with you. You don't have to think about it, and then, you know, it's a lot more water than just that little bucket. So I think what I'm gonna do is figure out a way to rig that. So I haven't really decided. I know I need a 12-volt valve to open and close, and then I don't know if I'm gonna use like that box or some sort of pump, but obviously I'm gonna have to pump it all the way from the back up to the front to shoot on the radiator for cooling. We might even do a little jog and have it so I can shoot either just the transmission or just the radiator. I guess at that point, if the transmission's hot, the motor's probably hot, so maybe we'll just split them off, and then when you give it the shot, it'll just cool all of it off. But I'm gonna control it, I think with the engine temp. So I'll have it manual, and then if I have enough IO on the Holley, if it gets cooking, I'd like the Holley just to take the wheel and start putting water on the deal, so that way if my wife's driving or a buddy's driving and they're mouth breathing and we're tired and it's late and there's some grade or who knows what, they don't melt things down unintentionally. Because I don't have like warning lights and stuff. It's not like a normal car. I guess one could put those in. Maybe that'll be something we can do too, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself because we have this turd that doesn't have a motor. So Cam will be here this coming week, and then I'm gonna take the rest of the afternoon, not to bore you guys, I'm gonna clean parts, the oil pan, and clean some stuff up for the Malibu, and we're gonna wrap it up, call it a day. We got a week, starts tomorrow, lots of work. You know how it is. You guys, thank you for following along. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.